Welcome once again, dear Dividend investing viewers, to our Sunday evening communion. We're so happy that you're here joining us, and we're early. I was supposed to go to a concert tonight. That changed. We'll talk about it later, but I got one of the friends of the channel and the show in the green room. He's hanging out. He's back there. We're going to bring him on. Say hello. Well, I'll say hello. It's SCHD Stan. How you doing, buddy? All righty then. So, that's what's going on? How's it out there in Florida, down there, over there?
Oh, it's beautiful. Today's a magnificent day. The winter here is just unbelievable. Although this year it's rained a lot, and it usually doesn't rain at all. It's been cloudy a lot, but today's one of those good ones. So, loving it.
We love talking about the weather, don't you? God bless it. So, yeah, look at Lisa, Chris, you guys are already in here. What's up? Well, I got a fun thing planned. We're just going to do some dividend hikes. And I was hoping Shamir, if you're in here, I got a fun little treat because, or anybody else that's Canadian, if you're watching and you're Canadian, say something in the chat. Let me know because you guys have heard me do this Jim Carrey impersonation from a bad one, I might add you, from a stand-up that he did back in the 90s. So I'm going to throw that on in just a moment, waiting for Shamir. So Craig, man, have you been buying more SCHD? It's kind of fallen out of favor, right? It's, Boss is Canadian. Good. So tell us, I don't know, what have you been buying? Couple things really quick while some people are filtering in here.
Sure. I actually haven't bought SCHD in a while, since November, because it's run up so quickly and it's reached all-time high, 52-week highs recently. So it's doing well. You know, it's not picked up as much as the tech-heavy S&P and the Qs and that sort of thing. But it feels expensive to me. It's really not. Like, good for you if you're still buying, no problem with that. If you're DCAing, all that sort of thing. But me, I kind of wait for the dip. So I've got so many shares, I can be patient and wait. So I've been looking at, like last time we talked, I bought some Deere. It's been down. I actually speaking of Canadian, I made a big purchase of Manulife recently before it really ran up. So I bought it like a month ago and it's up like 15% since I bought it. Like it literally had a breakout like a couple days after I bought it. So lucky. I did read some stuff about people, chart people talking about, this looks like it's going to break out. And I was looking at buying it anyways, and it just worked out. So
don't you hate when that happens? God, I hate. There he is. There's Shamir. Dude, I hate when that happens when I'm looking at something, I'm watching, it's flat, it's down. And then I did this with Diageo. I'm like, all right, it's in the low 140s. I start a position. It dropped down to like 137, bought a couple more, and then 2 weeks later or whatever, just like lightning quick, we're in the mid 150s. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah. I'm starting to think the way to go is if you like something and you think it's a quality company, you've done your research, just put what you got in it. Just buy, because that one certainly worked out. It's not going to work out every time, but you're going to regret it either way. It goes down, you're going to regret it. It goes up, you're going to regret it too. So you might as well just take
it. I know, dude. Yeah. It's hard, but that's why we're investing for the long term, right, dude? We just gotta. So anyway, good. Before we go any further, and for all of you, this is just over a minute long. This for you Canadians in the house, you're gonna love this, and you're gonna know why I've done this. I've done this voice before. So without further ado, we're not gonna turn into a stand-up comedy show here, but Shamir, Haas, Craig, you Canadians, you guys are going to like this.
I used to get really upset when I told people where I came from down in Los Angeles because I always got the same response. Canada? Wow. Must have been cold. Now I just go along with them.
Yes, Canada. It was a frozen, hostile wasteland. And there was much work to be done if we were to survive the elements. After boring a hole through the ice to find food, my good friend Nantuk and I would build an igloo to protect ourselves from polar bears and flying hockey pucks. Then we would drink a lot of beer. And when Nantuk was ready, he would tell me the story of the great moose who said to the little squirrel, "Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat."
Dude, you gotta hand it to Jim Carrey.
That's good.
So now you guys know when I do that voice, that's where I got that from. So that's for all you Canadians out there, even those not in Canada. So have you ever gotten that when you tell people down in Florida you're from Canada? Did they ever say?
Oh, you know what's funny is
there.
that when I lived in Canada and I just crossed the border, I was basically at the same latitude. So the weather is the same in Michigan, in northern Michigan. And I was at a basketball camp and kids there were like, "Oh, wow, what's it like?" And just like that, what, it must be cold there. Like, what is it like? Do you guys, and they literally asked me if I lived in an igloo. Like, just like that. It's so true. And I'm like, I'm right across the border. Like, it's the same. Like,
Yeah.
What do you think when you cross the border that the snow just starts? Like there's a force field or something? And we do the exact same thing. We played along. Oh, yeah, we live in igloos and we don't have electricity. And they're like, no way.
You got a team of sled dogs that pulled you to the basketball camp right across the border.
And they're like, really? No, not really.
I love it. I love it. It is funny. And all you guys in the chat, it's funny. It's true. You know, that's the thing that makes some comedians so funny is because when there's elements of truth in their humor, I mean, it's like psychology. It's just so awesome that we can connect with things like that. So without further ado, now we're going to do the, everybody, welcome to the part of the show. Nice. Fast Study says a lot of great strip joints in Canada. Well, there is a company that you can invest in if you do want to own gentlemen's clubs, and it is, oh my God. Do you remember it? If we've talked about it, it just, somebody will put it in the chat. Rick's Cabaret. I think RACK is the ticker. I can't think of it. Anyway, somebody will do that. So anyway, but here we go. The dividend raises. Wait, we're not on the screen. There we go. We'll be on there. Put us on there. So first up, do you own Home Depot?
Just in SCHD, I own those, not Home Depot.
So they raised their dividend 7.7%, which is their 15th consecutive annual increase. Is the Home Depot, and I don't own them outright, but we'll move through these quick. Walmart raised their dividend 9.2%, and they officially split. So on tomorrow morning, they're going to be about $58 a share. So Walmart raised that dividend almost 10%. That's their largest raise in over a decade. This company, I was telling Craig before, I was like, they basically stole the YouTube logo and painted it black, is what ADI, the semiconductor company, did. 7%, that's their 20th consecutive annual increase. Now we got Exelon. They're here in Chicago, so ComEd is, we pay our bill to ComEd, which Exelon owns. Raised their dividend 5.6%, everybody. 80 safe, 4.2% yield. Once upon a time, I owned them, and we sold them. Excel, up there, way up there in the Great White North. I think the Excel Energy Center, where the Minnesota Wild play. 5.3%, that's their 21st straight year of growth. And by the way, all these dividend raises are above the inflation rate. They're all over 3%, except one of them. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Chubb. This one, people think Warren Buffett may be getting in on Chubb, so we'll see if that's the secret Berkshire stock. 5.8% raise they're proposing, it says, to their shareholders. Chubb, my guy Ryan Williams owns this one, Owl Rock. So do any of you in the chat own Owl Rock? Let me know. I think it's in the same BDC vein as Ares Capital, things like that. 5.7% raise and an 8-cent per share special dividend. Working our way through. We got a couple REITs coming up. Essex, ticker ESS, 6.1% raise. That's their 30th consecutive year. I don't own them. 4.27% yield. This one is interesting. And Craig, do you own any? So before I get to that, let me just say, Prologis, this is a business I have a lot of experience with in my industry. 10% raise. That's their 11th straight year of increases. So they do industrial warehouse spaces around the Chicagoland area here. They have many buildings. They have whole parks, they call it a Prologis park. And so what I'm thinking is I want to get out of AT&T, and those of you in the chat, let me know. I can't just rip the Band-Aid off yet. I'm so adverse to stubborn about taking a loss, but I'm thinking of in our self-directed IRA, we have 200 shares of AT&T. So Craig, what's your opinion, man? What I'm thinking of selling T. We're down a lot. It's stupid how much we're down, but I'm thinking of just putting that into a business that I know, I understand, and I don't see them going anywhere for quite some time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'd sold my AT&T position a while back, and I haven't looked back, and it was the right thing to do. I think you'll probably feel the same way. I can guarantee you'll feel the same way. And I think it's, I haven't been looking at, I literally didn't look at the stock price again after that, but I think it's up since, but I moved it, at first I moved it into Verizon, and then Verizon went up even more. I think it did better. And Verizon's actually been on a pretty good comeback.
Yeah.
And then Verizon got up, and I sold a good chunk of Verizon. So now I have a little bit left, and I'm happy that I sold both. And the little bit I have left has a lower cost average, and it's up, so much better. So yeah, bottom line, you'll feel good moving it to something better.
Yeah, it's what's up? Jeremy's in the house. I was telling Jeremy about it too. We were messaging on X, and yeah, it's just something I'll end up doing. But I was thinking of at least waiting until I see a screaming buy, something that I really want to buy, and then just using that money from T to just then take the loss on it and the hit. But yeah, actually right now it hasn't, oh no, Burn Survivor has HD. I don't know why all of a sudden I was becoming Irish there, but they have HD and some OBDC as well. So yeah, anyway, Prologis, there you go. That's a business that, again, one thing I love about them, and this is a little bit of somebody being on the inside, is that their buildings are always very nice, very top notch. They will knock down old buildings. They put up new buildings. They spend a lot to really keep the tenants happy. They don't want them going elsewhere. They don't Band-Aid a lot of things. They retrofit the older buildings. They upgrade. So just a very well-run business. At least I've never dug in. I need to dig into the management side and the annual report, but at least from what I've seen as a subcontractor working on their buildings, just top notch. I really like it. So moving along, a couple more. This is the one that didn't beat L3 Harris, ticker LHX, 1.8%. So I figured I'd throw them in there. That's the wild card. And a couple more things here. Allstate, 3.4% raise. That's their 14th year of dividend. I think some people in here own, some of you in the chat own Allstate, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, 2.3% yield, a little bit below the 5-year average. And then two interesting note things here. Newmont, the gold mining company, so they have a base dividend, but then they also have a variable component on top of that. So if they do well, they'll pay extra. It's like an extra bonus. But from what I've read, that they are eliminating the variable part of the dividend, so they'll just have that flat base, and then they will also buy back more shares with that money, and that would make Warren Buffett happy. So that's what they are doing with that. And last but not least, we're ending with another Canadian business. TELUS. What are they? They're like the Verizon or AT&T of Canada, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we got TELUS, Bell, and Rogers up there.
Yeah, they almost. Ooh, do they all have hockey license? So I know what. Who's at the Bell Center? Is that the Habs, the Maple?
Yep.
The Canadians.
Montreal, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the Habs are at the Bell Center. Rogers isn't that the Buds, the Maple Leafs? You might not even. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. And then TELUS, I don't know if they have one. Anyway, whatever. Just make it up as you go along. Shamir will correct us. Maybe I don't know where the Sens play. Does anybody even care about the Senators? I don't think anyone does. So it's a little, I don't know. Anyway, so they're going to be spending less. They're going to be oh, he's a Habs fan. They're going to be spending less money on their capital expenditures, which is another reason that I don't like Verizon, AT&T. Highly capital intensive means they just suck down lots and lots of cash, and yeah, and they're very competitive. So, hey, that's what we did there. So there's some raises. If you just joined in and you missed it, you can rewind the video. I had a fun Jim Carrey skit going on. Let me hide this. Oh, And lastly, you got 3 in a row, 3 live streams in a row. I got my Walmart stock splits. I know they're going to put this on my funeral. Like, and this he was so proud of. He made this before. And I borrowed heavily though from, and I shouted him out, Morgan Housel. Or was it Brian Feroldi? I don't know. It was one of those two. But yeah, Walmart, they split. So Monday morning, if you're on StockTwits, it's funny. There's going to be a whole bunch of people that are saying like, "Oh my God, what happened? Walmart crashed. It was 170 something. Now it's $58." It's like, no, they took all the shares back and then gave everybody 3 shares for their every one for the split. So the same thing. The whole pizza image here. It's the same size business as it was on Friday to Monday morning. Nothing changed except the price. There you go. So that's that. We'll remove that and say hello to you again. Look at you. So yeah, so that's what you've been buying, huh? Let's see what some of these people. That was an awful segue. We talked about what you were buying before we did all that. So if anybody can follow that disjointed. Oh, I was like, hey, I know this guy. He's with us and he's there. How did you do that? Yeah, Rick.
Fired up.
Yep, that was it. So Rick, if anybody wants to own a gentleman's club, that's another sin stock. That's a sin stock. What about you? What sin stocks do you own outright? Do you own any?
I guess the gambling stocks are sin stocks, right? I'm not a fan of the smoking, the tobacco stocks, but I do own. I own some DraftKings from a long time ago, and then I have Vici, which is they own the casinos. Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan at all of the smoking. I've never been a fan of smoking, so I just can't do it. I understand other people have no problem with it, but it's everyone, like, cancer is like one of the biggest causes of death in the world, and it's the only sure thing that'll give you cancer. Like, it's the only known, like, we don't know what causes cancer, but there's one thing we know does, right? And it's just, okay.
Yeah. Dude, I agree.
I can't get over that one. And
so we're similar to that. We still invest in Altria and we're waiting for our exit. So my wife and I we've shared this before. We both lost people to cancer from smoking. And we're going to sell, but we're decided to wait until we go green on the position, which is going to be like 40, put it 43.50-ish. So I think we're going to wait for about $44. It's getting there. So I don't know what that means. Maybe we have loose principles. I don't know, but I agree, man. Nathan, he's held Prologis for 2 years now, man. That's solid. That is solid. Shamir doesn't need the income, so he sold out of T and VZ. Yeah. I got to do it. You'll see. Oh, look at this. Kevin Burgess sold his T and VZ for tax loss harvest. Yeah, a lot of people did, which is probably why the price isn't coming up. All you people keep selling. How am I supposed to get out? What's the matter with you?
I'm telling you, feel good about it, man. Just cut it. Move it right
I did a little. For those of you that follow, a few weeks ago, I shared in the newsletter. By the way, Warren Buffett's shareholder letter came out. So in the description below, I have a link to my newsletter I put out today where I kind of summarized, gave some of my thoughts about it. But yeah, it's I'm stubborn. So I had bought a big chunk, almost 100 shares in the $17 and $16 range. So when it was at 18, I sold at 18, just those. So I still have like 300 some shares, but they're like $23, $24, average cost. And I don't know if we're ever going to get there, but yeah. So John, what you got going on, John? Manufacturers that make welding supplies like ASAP. I don't know if that's right. ASAP. I know Lincoln. I use Lincoln welding rods. I don't know who owns Miller. I probably should do that. My welder is a Miller Bobcat, and I use Lincoln welding rods. I know there's Lincoln welding shop talk here, but yeah, Lincoln looks solid. And what do you think? This is one thing I've made the mistake of. I look at the yield on a business like Lincoln, and I say, well, maybe I can pull it up while you're telling me about it here. Oh, ESAB. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it. ESAP didn't sound right. I mean, those low yields, I've been turned off, but some of these grow their dividends quick. So what do you think about that?
About low yields.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've started to see. I've come around to it. I mean, especially if there's great growth there, dividend growth, and if there's good capital appreciation, I'm becoming more and more of a fan. I might be recency biased because lower yielding stuff has done better lately because of interest rates being higher, and so they've done better. So maybe it's a recency bias, but I've also just I think I'm just seeing the light that if you don't need the income now, it's all right to take something with a lower yield that's going to grow that, especially if you're looking at that plus like 8, 9, 10% or bigger dividend growth. Like that's nice, and that's not bad. I look at stuff. I like stuff that starts with 1% yield or higher, and then if it's got like a close to double-digit dividend growth rate, like that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I agree. And the growth is, here we go. So 1.14%, and it's turned me off like that, but I don't know why that's highlighted like that. But yeah, they're 1895, headquartered in Cleveland. Poor people in Cleveland. Couple metrics here. I know I blew it up too big. You want to do big. Yeah, an 11% 20-year CAGR. I mean, look at that.
That's nice.
Please shrink down that dividend growth. Just 30 years dividend growth. I mean, that is nice, but it takes a while. It's boring. Let me just see some of their numbers. Yeah, but see right now, the dividend yield's 34% below the 5-year average, but yeah, good company all the way maxed out at their 52-week high. And yeah, and see companies like this, 26% free cash flow payout ratio, which means that they can easily cover the dividend with their free cash. And I'll bet you they're buying back shares. Let me see. Yeah, 58, just consistently buying back. Just companies like this are easy. You got to love this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a little bit of a hint there, people, when you see a business that has consistently high return on equity and return on invested capital, it means management knows what they're doing and they're going to keep growing the business. So, I mean, this is just fantastic. And now I think like stupid. I've been using Lincoln rods for many years, but yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's a low yield. So yeah, just super nice numbers, net debt low. Yeah, just nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong. By the way, before we leave this, everybody, check this out. I did start a position in Agree Realty because this is on ceobuys.com. And dude, Joey Agree, the CEO of Agree Realty. I mean, look at it. The dude keeps picking up shares 2 days ago, 9 days ago, 2 months, 2 months, 5 months, 5 months. He has just 7 months, 9 months, 9 months. So he hadn't really bought it, before 2 years ago. But yeah, so look at him buying he was confidently buying at $66, $62, and then 56, 53. So he's kind of confidently buying under 66. And I started that position in Agree Realty as well. So do you own Agree Realty, Mr. Craig?
I don't. No, the only REITs I have are Vici, AMT, and then I have a little bit Invitation Homes. I don't hear people talk about that too much, but it's actually done pretty well. It's held up pretty well through all this recent trouble for REITs. So it's different. It's like they own like residential homes and
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking with texting yesterday with I see him in the chat here with Darth. We were talking about Prologis and Stag. I don't know. He had the eyes of the ultimate warrior in his rebuttal to somebody on Facebook, I believe it was, or Instagram. Sorry, man, I don't remember about Prologis versus Stag. And now those are apples to apples. And in my latest video, somebody wanted to. They commented about. Stag has been doing so much better than Realty Income. And I think it's just because, dude, Stag's an industrial and they've been more resilient, where Realty Income is way heavier into retail. They're trying to branch out into different things, but retail has taken way more of a hit. So I don't remember the Rogers Center was the Blue Jays. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Sky Dome. Yeah. The Sky Dome, right? It's called the Rogers Center. Yeah.
Scotiabank places the Leafs. Okay, good. Nobody cares about all. Yeah, the pizza again. I told you. There you go, Chris. Yeah, Walmart's your biggest holding. Well, you're going to have a lot more shares. Well, I'd see that sounds right. It'll be lower costs per share, but it'll be more shares is what that is. Let's see, 13 stocks that didn't own a single one. Yeah, and there's more that probably gave their Steve, but that's just simply safe. It's easy for me. It looks nice. It's easy for you guys to follow along some information. Maybe give some of you people some ideas. No pineapples on the pizza. I think that's gross. Have you ever had pineapple on your pizza?
I love it.
Really?
I love pineapple on my pizza. Not afraid to say it. It's great stuff.
Hot sauce. I put a lot of hot sauce on it. I think I've destroyed my taste buds. Yeah. Asbestos is the only thing that causes mesothelioma. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. Huh. Well, look at that, everybody. You learned something. So apparently then it's smoking and if you work with asbestos. So don't go handling that asbestos, Yeah, he thinks split's good for Walmart. I don't know. I think people are going to buy more, right? Because when Tesla did that, everyone's like, "Yeah, it's cheaper. Let's buy more." But it's like nothing changed with the business. It's still. But
Walmart's not even that. Like, it's not one of those stocks. It's like $500 to $1,000. It's $100 and some dollars. I don't know how much difference it's really going to make. I think it's big for options. When something has a smaller price, people can get a lot more involved in options. Like, even if something's just over $100, that's an expensive. Anytime you're dealing with options, you're dealing with 100 shares at a time. So it gets expensive. So that can have an effect.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, this is funny. Here we go. Dart says you're like the key maker on the Matrix when it comes to SCHD. Hey, he lives up to his name, man. And we're hardly going to talk about it here. That's.
But I'm ready to if we want to anytime. Shoot me some questions about SCHD or us some questions.
There you go. Anybody watching, if you you got a question about good old SCHD, what do you want to know? Reconstitution.
Yep.
Is that? I can't think. I just forgot the word.
Reconstitution.
Is it reconstitution? Is it?
Yeah. Coming up in March.
All right. Yeah, and like Dart said, it is great dividend. It's great for income, and of course, like you said, we've been putting money in our Roth to hopefully buy it, and my kids, I put in money for them to buy in their custodials, but I don't want to buy. I'm price biased now. It's that damn averaging up. Do you got a problem with averaging up? Do you got a problem?
It's hard.
Right?
It's really hard. Yeah. I just did it on VYM though. I just bought some VYM. And I averaged up big time, but what did I sell? I sold something and I wanted to move it right over. And I looked at the stock and it was in VYM already. So I said, you know what, let me not miss out on any future gains if it keeps going up. And let me just move it over to an ETF that's heavy with it. And VYM was, and I averaged up big time, but they both stocks continue to go up afterwards. But I feel like an ETF, if something happens and things drop, it won't drop as much. And you're safe in an ETF. As safe as you can when you're dealing with stocks, right?
Yeah, safer from like a massive drop because it's so, you got that diversification risk. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when things go up, they're going to grab the bigger stocks that move up. It's going to take up the ETF with it.
Yeah, it's going to help pull it up. Dart's uncle retired from Lincoln Electric, and I was teasing. I don't know if I got this. I made that little joke about Cleveland, but we took our kids there 2 years ago, or was it? It was maybe last year, and I was like, okay, you'll never get a good look on Cleveland because you're never gonna come back. So poor people in Cleveland. It's not that bad. It was a nice town. It was a nice town, you Clevelanders. Let's see. Gotta find somebody. Oh, look at Fast Eddie. I don't know what MRVI is. Nvidia. Ooh. Oh, you bought Nvidia at the tippy top here, huh? What do you think about Nvidia? Is it too? I don't know, man. I understand it. Where if you look at their price to earnings, they're actually pretty cheap compared to what they had been. But this growth, dude, it's gonna peter out, right?
It's one of those ones. It's just getting so frothy, exciting. Like everybody's talking about it. People that don't follow stocks are going to buy it. Like it's just one of those things, where it's just like people are just jumping in, and that's usually the sign that it's going to come down. But hey, it might still go for a while because it's not like a lot of those other kind of hype stocks, because they actually are doing big things. They're bringing a lot of revenue, and it could get more and more. So there's more to it than usual, but still, I don't know. I'm just sad that I sold a good chunk of it a while back when I shouldn't have.
No.
But I do have SMH, the ETF, and I'm happy I've got it.
Yeah, that's even worse when you do that, when you sell it and then it runs out. But hey, as long as you didn't lose money, that's what I've learned. If you don't lose money, try not to be too upset, because nobody knows the future, right? None of us knows what's going to happen.
But I listened to somebody that, I listened to like an influencer talk about it, and like, oh, this thing's so overpriced and blah, blah, blah. And now it's up, like the shares, a small amount of shares I have left are up like 400, 500%. I'm like,
right.
I had like 20 shares or something too. It's like,
Well, there you go. He's sharing with you, everybody, the lesson again. No, nobody knows what's going to happen, and that's what makes life so interesting, And Pat, this is another longtime friend here, Pat. Thank you. You're not, we got the replay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I started earlier. I thought we were going to a concert tonight, but I did some due diligence. I'll get caught up. I can tell you about it real quick. This is a Misfits shirt here I'm wearing. Back in the day, Glenn Danzig, that name might ring a bell for some of you people. This was a cartoon from the 70s called Captain Harlock and the Space Pirates. So this is more of a Glenn Danzig shout out shirt that I'm wearing. He kind of, popularized it, I guess. But yeah, so there was a second singer back in the 90s, Michael Graves, one of my favorite singers, really enjoy him. And here in the United States, there's this group called the Proud Boys, and I really don't know much about them. I don't know much, but I'd heard they were like a white supremacist group. So this singer I've heard like just through, I'm not like into the punk scene like I used to be, but I heard he had ties with the Proud Boys. So I kind of forgot about it and whatnot. But then this morning was like, yeah, what was that all about? I'm going to look into it. And man, I didn't like what I read. So I was like, well, people, it's free. I'll fight for your right to say whatever you want to say. But when it comes to money, so I was about to spend money, right? And I did my due diligence. And before I invested money and a little bit of time, I didn't like what I saw. So there you go. I don't know. Weird. That's a weird way to segue into I don't know what, but yeah. So do your due diligence before investing into anything, right? Because when we put our money into something, that separates conviction from conversation, I think. Okay, enough of that. So that's why we started it. I kept it early because Craig's out there. If you're going to get him done early too, but Visa's not going to affect McDonald's. I don't know. That must be something coming in late. I love it when I do that because then I'm confused and other people are confused. I know you guys are talking. I saw some McRib talk. Thank you. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Awesome. I'm all crazy here with this time shift and change. Matt bought more Pabst Blue Ribbon. Very nice. That's Petrobras. Petrobras, Brazil. Hey, maybe he's buying PBR too, Matt. You gotta be more specific than that, because. All right, dude, we got caught up. I love this. By the way, yeah, Kevin Burgess, make sure you subscribe to his channel. Do you subscribe to Kevin Burgess's channel, Mr. Craig?
Oh, of course. Kevin's fantastic. I love Kevin, man. So much knowledge, so much experience. I love his stuff.
Yeah, dude. Great. And that's the thing. It's, I want to blame it on youth, but sometimes I think us older guys are a little bit penalized, but maybe not. Chuck from Fast Graphs has a pretty good following, and he's 70s, something like that. So, yeah. Did I ever listen to GBH? I haven't listened to GBH. I've heard songs. I haven't. Yeah, Kevin, he asked me to be on his feed tomorrow. I got a thing going on with VA group that I have to I'm taking part of. So next Monday, I'm planning to hang out with Kevin on his show. And yeah, what do you guys think about that? Right? I mean, before you put money into something, like whatever, it's a refrigerator, it's a watch, it's anything. And it's like you said, man, with the tobacco, you don't want your money to be associated, at least outright. Altria in SCHD? I don't remember.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, with mutual funds, if you buy VTI or VOO,
Hmm.
you're going to be buying these businesses, but at least it's not as intentional like your stamp of approval.
Right.
Like, I want to own this business outright. Yeah. So I agree with you, Shamir. He didn't buy PBR, but he bought PB&J. I like you, Shamir. I like you, Shamir. You are my friend. And he had a breakfast burrito. All right, you guys are gonna be. Oh, it's interesting. Do you buy any crypto? What do you do with crypto? Nothing.
Oh, I have a little. I bought some crypto again a couple of years ago. I bought some, and I just forget about it. Just put it aside and don't even think about it. And then, maybe in the future someday I'll have a look and see if it's up. It should be up pretty good right now. BTC's up to 52,000 again, so it's probably doing pretty good.
Hey, see, if I was psychic, I would have just sold almost all my stocks, bought Bitcoin when it was around, what did it go? Like 17,000? Could just bought it all there and rode it back up to 50. Yeah.
But I mean, it's rough when it's when it's in the downtrend, man. It is rough. You don't want to have a lot of money. It's tough, man. Good for the people that can buy and just hold on to that, because it's tough. You never know when things are bad. Things are bad. Like it just snowballs. Like, oh, this thing's going to zero, and then when it's up high, it's the greatest thing ever. So enjoy the ride. It's a rough.
Yeah, and what's hard for me about it is, again, that I've become a disciple of Warren Buffett, and hearing him talk about gold. Bitcoin is basically digital gold, if you ask me. You can't. There's no cash flow component to it, so it's really tough to value. And when you're buying Bitcoin, because there's no cash flow component to it, like a farm or a rental property, all you're doing is you're hoping that somebody's going to pay you more for it than you paid for it. And that's a tricky thing, I mean, yes, anything can lose value, but you got like bonds is one type of investment, or anything that's currency related, and then you have the things that are just no cash flow component to it, but you're just hoping that somebody pays you more for it, and then you have things that do cash flow. So
yeah, it's hard.
Oh yeah, it's getting there. I was in a hurry once upon a time, but this guy's kind of just enjoying the ride. And like the live streams, I love this. I love talking with you, Craig. I love talking with everybody in the chat. Like, it's fun for me. Kevin, texting Kevin, all the people I've gotten to meet. Michael, thank you for sharing your philosophy that averaging up, because we were talking, it's so damn difficult to average up. You ignore the sunk costs and decide whether to stock buy for me. Yeah. Oh, dude. And you know what? I've actually was looking at Exxon when it was in the 90s, and I didn't, because our cost basis is in the 40s or 50s. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, but it'll ruin my cost basis. So have you ever heard that? I think there's a trick that you're supposed to look at it as, if I own 0 shares of this, nothing, would I be comfortable buying it? And if the answer is yes, then you buy it. It doesn't matter what your cost anything is, and that's easier said than done. But what do you think? Is that a good thing to do? Would you?
I might freeze up for a second. The sound from you to me is, just give me a second. I'm gonna try a different network.
All right. Well, we'll move on. Keep talking then. Anybody? Did you invest in the new Bitcoin ETFs? I haven't. I'm not going to. Again, it's just still the same old Bitcoin. Dude, I love it. He entered the Matrix. Oh, wait, no, he's not. His eyes are moving. Creepy. That's fine. That's, a lot of you guys don't. I love it. Dan, I've held for, see, I get you guys on this. So Bubble Chaser, what were you holding for a couple of years? I totally missed what you guys were talking about. There you go. Look at Shamir. He's a forward-thinking individual on this planet. We need more people like him. You buy the farm. You metal detect the farm. That's something that I am thinking of doing more this year. Have you, Craig? The world wants to know. Everybody in the chat, it's the burning question in their mind. Do you ever metal detect? Apparently he can't hear me.
Okay, I'm back.
So,
yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, I'm back. I think I'm back now.
Yeah, we were just wanted to know, a hot topic. Do you ever metal detect?
Metal detect? No.
Yeah, you got it.
I bought gold in the past and not happy about it.
Yeah. I love it, dude. So for me, I want to metal detect more this year. I joined a Reddit. There's a group where a subreddit, they show things they found metal detecting, and it's like treasure hunting for me. It's cathartic, like relaxing. I get to be out in nature, like a forest preserve or somewhere on the beach. So you're outside, you're walking, you're getting exercise, and you never know what you're going to find. Usually a lot of junk, but alcohol stocks. Well, I bought Diageo, so I think that, put it this way, my grandfather, he had smoked for many years. He wasn't a drunk or something, but he would have a glass of wine, sometimes two, sometimes a glass of wine and a beer, almost every day. And the guy lived to 93, but it was the lung cancer that did him in. I've seen plenty of people that have, there's people that are, there's a woman I was reading about who's 105 maybe. And one of her secrets is a glass of whiskey every day. So I don't think you're going to find too many people that are that age that say, I smoke a pack of cigarettes every day. It's not, I don't know. What do you think about alcohol stocks? You don't drink, do you?
I drink. Oh yeah. Drinking's great.
Yeah. It's funny thing. I had an old friend come over Friday night, and I had a couple. Yeah, I don't like to be drunk, but I had more than I normally do. And in the morning, I woke up and I told my wife, I was like, I got a little headache. It's almost as if I was poisoned. And of course, she says, well, you poisoned yourself. And I say, yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah,
so
I'm fine. I'm fine with the sin stocks. I just draw the line at cigarettes. That's just personal for me. To me, it's just far more destructive than any of the other vices. It's just not for me. I've never ever been a fan.
And they all are. I mean, you can gamble too much and ruin your life. Smoke too much, ruin your life. Gentlemen's clubs ruin people's lives, right? I mean, McDonald's can ruin people's lives, right? So you got to draw the line somewhere. But cigarettes for me, it's pretty clear. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the other stuff you can do in moderation, like you said, and you'll still probably be fine. Whereas cigarettes it's pretty tough to do cigarettes in moderation, because once you start, you're addicted and you can't stop, and you do more. You see people that used to just share, they used to bum cigarettes, months later, they're buying packs, that they thought they were just going to do it when they were having a drink or when they were to be social. Next thing you know, they're full on smokers. Like, you just see that all the time, and they can't stop for years. They want to stop and they can't. It's so destructive, and it affects people around you with the secondhand smoke and the smell. And it's just, sorry, man, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
No, be on it. It's fine. It's, it's like when I was young. I mean, my grandfather caught me smoking cigarettes behind the garage. He said, well, now you're going to be punished and you're going to finish that whole pack right here, right now. And that's the day I started smoking cigarettes. So now that's a bad joke. That is a dear departed SNL alum, the Canadian, right? Kevin Nealon. I think he died of cancer.
Kevin Nealon? He's not dead, is he? No, you
Who
mean?
Am I thinking of, chat?
Yeah, I know what you're thinking of.
There was a comedian.
My brother's gonna be mad at me. He knows every.
He used to be on Saturday Night Live. That was one of his jokes, and it was cigars. He said his dad caught him smoking cigars, and he's like, and that's the day I started smoking cigars.
Yeah. Oh man, it's killing me.
I know. Somebody will put it in there. It wasn't Kevin Nealon. Oh, I just saw his face. This is age, people.
Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald.
Yes, it was Norm Macdonald. Is he Canadian?
He's awesome.
Is he Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And that's why I'm really mad at myself that I didn't get that.
And apologies if he's in the chat watching. Apologies to Kevin Nealon. We made you Canadian and a smoker, so we do apologize for that. I'm sure he's a good guy. He'd be okay with it. Yeah, about averaging up. Yeah, it's PG at 110. I was buying it at 126, and we had a small position. We sold at 150, I think, something like that. Can I explain ETF decay? I cannot. I think you might be talking, Matt, about the time decay for options, like when you sell a covered call. So time decay means that when the options contract gets closer to the expiration date, the price will move a lot faster in one direction or another because of something called time decay. So I don't know if that's what you might be thinking about, but I've never.
I think you might be referring to like the covered call ETFs, and they would experience that decay from the call options they're doing, right?
Yeah, but that would just affect the income for it. That shouldn't affect the. I don't know what you meant, but Shamir takes the individual stocks case by case basis. Yeah, ETFs, that's a good one, man. So we're doing an experiment with my, sorry, Kevin, this chicken coop. He was supposed to do something. Are you smarter than a chicken? When we talked, he was gonna pick some stocks, and I told him put some cards out and put a little bit of seed on each one and see which one the chicken goes to, and then we'll see. You do a little thing, and if you can outwit a chicken, but. It could be a better investor than your chickens. And I was like, dude, it'd be a whole thing. It'll be Kevin's chickens, what stocks they're picking. What stocks is Kevin's chicken picking? And you do that, you get people, it's unique. Nobody's done that before. I've never seen a chicken pick stocks. So, and then we track it. You got a whole thing going, Kevin. The possibilities are limitless. But what was we talking about? I get goofy with this. With the ETFs, I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself. My wife, we started buying $50 a week. We started a Roth for her, buying VTI, the whole stock market, and it goes automatic. We don't look at the price, just $50 every Friday is buying VTI. So whether it's all-time highs, all-time lows, whatever, that's what we're doing. But hey, what's up, KD Trading? I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Nice. That's what he's been buying through the dividend raises. ASML, Broadcom, Procter & Gamble, Visa, and Walmart. Beautiful. All right. Go to Montana for metal. See, it's awesome. You just throw anything out there, any kind of topic. But he was investing in, or looking between Diageo and, was that Louis Vuitton? Is LVM... Yeah. FH, is it? Yeah, I don't know too much about.
They're both good. I think they're both good stocks. They've done well.
Yeah. George Burns, he's lived to be. I think, he was over 100. I think his. And the thing about George Burns, he always used to say that his doctor told him, "You got to stop smoking the cigars." And then George Burns stopped listening to his doctor when his doctor died, and George Burns was still going. So. He said, "My doctor's dead." Well, we thank you as shareholders, Shamir, for drinking too much PepsiCo and eating too many Lays. Don't do too many. Oh my God, we're so far behind. Yeah, there we go. Norm Macdonald. Yeah, people are like, Norm Macdonald died?
Right, there you go, about the doctor.
That's it. He put it in there. Thank you. I knew I was going to butcher it, but yeah, I don't know. My doctor's dead. Oh, did he? Well, I'm assuming you meant Graham Stephan, not Stephen Graham. Hey, maybe. Maybe there's a Stephen Graham. I don't know. Hey, whatever. We'll allow it. Do you have any pets, Craig, that you would let take stocks? Yeah.
No pets. Oh, you know what? I saved a snail from dying. He was like roasting on my patio. And I grabbed him, brought him in the house, and my daughter's like, "Oh, you gotta save him!" And she wants a pet so bad. I'm like, "All right, I'll put him in the old fish tank." And now there's hundreds of them. They multiply on their own. They don't need a partner. They have babies
asexual,
without.
I think. No.
Yeah, they're like both. They're like hermaphrodite. they have both sexes, so they can on their own just have babies. So there's like hundreds of them there, and I'm like, oh my god, what can I do?
We'll just throw out random medical terms. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. Wow, you can start selling them. Yeah, Greg just heard about Kevin's chicken picks. Yeah, it's the right channel, right?
Yeah, now we're talking about snails.
I'm telling you, Kevin's chicken picking, right? As long as the wings are finger licking. Well, I don't know if he's gonna eat those chickens, but Kevin, come on, man, he's got to do that. See, and it'll never end. If just everybody keeps coming up, you keep going with it. I love it. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Do you watch any Graham Stephan, or have you ever consumed his content?
Yeah, he's not bad actually. He's pretty balanced. Like I like him. He's a smart guy, and he's not doesn't get too crazy with the the overvalued frothy stuff. Like, he's a reasonable person. You can learn something from him.
Sometimes it's a little too bear porn-ish, like market crash porn type stuff,
Oh yeah, that's I don't like it.
I should rephrase that differently, because now people are gonna.
His thumbnails get a little too much. Yeah, the thumbnails are always like, dude, that's like the fire in the background, and he has those ones where he has like baggy eyes, like, oh, what happened? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's all it's all human psychology, because what do they say, that our brains are more wired to fear the prospect of loss than the prospect of gain. So it's all
I mean, it works. The guy's a master of YouTube marketing, man. He knows what works, and he just doubles down on it. It works for him.
And sometimes YouTubers pay him a couple $100 to film a little thing for them, like somebody may have done when they hit 100 shares of PepsiCo. So you didn't catch that, did you? When I did 100 shares of YouTube, of PepsiCo, I don't know, somebody will find it, but you look through my past videos. In the very first intro, I did Graham Stephan. I found him on, what's that site? Cameo, right?
Canva.
Are you familiar with Cameo?
Oh, Cameo. Yeah, Cameo. Yes.
Yeah, Cameo. So you can. Apparently, I could probably go on there. Yeah, and you do shout outs, and people do little recordings or whatever. So I paid him some money, and he did it. And I said, "Hey, I want you to."
Nice. I've never seen that. I want to see that. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody, I don't know.
How much did that cost? How much did it cost?
I'm telling you, man. I think it was close, pushing 200, because I think there was tax on it, and it was just. Yeah, I thought it would be like, oh, everybody will see Graham Stephan, and I had Ian Lopic on there too. So Ian did it for free, and I was actually more like that a little bit better. But yeah, we gotta be careful with that. People are gonna think about. Let's see. Oh, Lex Friedman had Bill Ackman on his podcast. That might be interesting. That will be. I heard that was good. I'm not big on Lex Friedman. He's kind of boring. He's just so dry. You ever listen to Lex Friedman?
Yeah, he's different, but I guess he's like disarming, right? Because he's so kind of mellow and calm, and he'll have anybody on regardless of point of view, and just let them speak, let them tell their story, right? So I think the guests like him, and then he gets good guests, and he asks good questions, and you get a good result in the end. But he's probably not for everybody with his style. It's so deadpan kind of, right?
I try. So Craig, you invest in SCHD quite a bit, and what I'm thinking, I'm just like, oh my god, like at least it'd be a pretty good cure for insomnia, But I want to hear what Beastill's channel with 350 subs. Well, there you go. If anybody wants to check it out, I don't know what you do, but. I guess I should say, what do you do first? Because again, if it's interesting shorts and just miscellaneous things. Oh, if you were to start an investing channel, start from scratch, 110%. Because if anybody remembers on this guy's channel, I used to do crypto stuff too, and it was dumb. Because I'd have people saying, I like the dividend stuff, but I'll wait for the crypto stuff I'm not going to watch that. And then vice versa. There'd be people like, talk more crypto and not dividend stuff. So yeah, you would absolutely need a whole separate channel. No doubt about it. Like Ian too. Remember Ian started a crypto channel just to keep it separate.
Yeah, you definitely want to be focused.
Yeah. Manufacturer of auto components. Dana. Interesting. Slow going as a snail. You know, that's funny because like you say slow going. Was it George Soros said that we should be investing. It shouldn't be exciting. If it's exciting, you're doing something wrong. And I will say to you also, be still as a YouTuber, it's funny because you want to make things like exciting and, you know, for the YouTube. But honestly, I think it can be, what's the word? Like, it shouldn't be exciting, but it should be, you should have fun doing it, right? You should enjoy it. Maybe that's it. It shouldn't be exciting, but it should be enjoyable, I think.
Yeah. It doesn't have to make your your heart race, you know, it doesn't have to be like an adrenaline rush. It should be like, you should just enjoy like making solid, good decisions and learning more about investing in the companies that you're interested in, that sort of thing. And you feel good about over long periods of time though. You can't buy a stock and then look the next day or the next week. It takes time for, you know, good companies to, for the stock price sometimes to reflect the success of the company. So you can't worry about it like short-term fluctuations. If you know, you've done your research and you know the company's good, right? And they have strong fundamentals. It's exactly why when SCHD was struggling, you know, last year in the fall, I didn't feel bad at all about buying that dip because I know that, or I have a lot of conviction that the companies within it will turn around, you know, and they've done well since.
Yeah, and you can't be, dude, you can't be upset about missing an opportunity because there's always going to be another opportunity. There will always be. We just don't know when and how many, but we do know when it happens. You got to pounce on that. And it shouldn't be heart racing. Like the one time I sold covered call on PepsiCo, and it was close to expiring, and it was on a Friday afternoon right by market close, and I was like 50 cents away from having the shares called away if it would have closed over like 180 or whatever it was. And it was insane. I was like a junkie, like watching every tick, you know. It would go at like 180 and 25 cents. I'm like, God, yeah. And I'm like trying to drive, and I got the phone up there, and then it's down to like 79, 75. I'm like, all right. It was not fun because there would have been a huge, you know, tax consequence. And I mean, if you like that aspect of it, like the adrenaline rush, the fun, like take a little bit of your portfolio, put aside some cash for that, whatever you can afford to lose, and, you know, have some fun with it. And, you know, you might get a win. You'll probably lose it. You'll learn a lesson, and, you know, you'll be up big. It's like gambling. You'll be up big and you think like, oh, I'm the greatest. I'm so good at this. And then next thing you know, you're down, and, you know, the way it goes. Yeah. Shamir probably, but yeah, I wanted to do it. I just wanted to see what would happen. And it taught me that it has to be something more than that. You know, you can't just have a big name on there, a big face, and just get tons of views and stuff. So there has to be more than that. We'll wrap up.
It's cool to try things out. It's cool to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I made the money back. Dude, you can always make more money back, you know. What do we believe when a SCHD will do a revamp? I think he's talking about the reconstitute. Okay, there you go, Michael. Yeah, the third Friday in March is the reconstitution. Yep. On the ball. Yep. I love it, Michael.
And, you know, I just recently had somebody ask me on Twitter about it, and then they were kind of inferring that, like, oh, what stocks have done the worst, like performance-wise? And I'm not sure if that's what he was asking. Like, I think he was thinking, you know, that would determine which stocks got cut out, but that's not how it works. Like, it's based on the fundamentals of the stocks, not the performance. So I did look at it. I made a list. It was like, oh, that is interesting though, to look at the companies that have, you know, how they performed since the last reconstitution. But it's more based on the, you know, the factors they look at, like the debt to cash ratio, the dividend growth, the dividend yield, the return on equity, and they score all that and figure out what stocks are going to be in this year. So the price has nothing to do with it really, except for the fact that the price is influenced by the underlying fundamentals. So some of the companies that have done poorly may get cut out, but it's not necessarily because they're not performing well.
Dude, you just gave me a thought. You and Shamir, as I'm listening to you, said you're going to be on that reconstitution discussion. Considering, dude, we should do a live stream that night. We should just go live and talk about it. That might be fun.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I started thinking about like looking at the fundamentals and trying to figure out which stocks will be cut. So we could do a little like, what do we think is going to get cut and why and what's going to be added. That could be fun.
Well, I meant after they do it. So when we already know, just like, what I mean? Tell people about it. So third Friday in March. We'll see. Maybe we'll have Ryan have us on or something. I don't know. We'll see. No, you're not stealing his thunder. That's fine. We love it.
And it's cool. What's interesting is because the dividend growth from SCHD isn't just from like the actual stocks within it, like there have been raises, because you can get new stocks that come in that happen to have a higher dividend yield starting. So based on what new stocks get added, it could really increase the dividend. Not just the yield, but it can increase the dividend growth because it's going to be higher than it was the year before just from adding in some new stocks. So, it could hurt it as well. But usually it tends to have a good uptick, usually because of the reconstitution. So it's very interesting.
Might steal that from you, Michael. I like it. The SCHD selection show, right?
See, that's what I was thinking, right? Like do one before and do one after. Predictions.
We could have fun with
just
it,
like sports. Do all the predictions that get all wrong, and then when it actually happens, don't talk about what you predicted at all because it's all wrong. So we won't mention what we got wrong.
And we'll end with this one. KD Trading said, when I started my dividend portfolio, originally I wanted it to be exciting, and after the restructuring, it's more aligned with SCHD and tech. Yeah, and that's it, man. You just get those good companies. All you need is a few, right? Like Charlie Munger was fond of saying, you only have to get wealthy once. I guess unless, you blow it all and blow yourself up. You don't want to risk permanent loss of capital. Just don't do that. Don't do anything, like you said, that'll blow you up and just cripple you financially. So, as long as you do that, yeah. So, dude, we made it. Thanks for hopping on. It was short notice. I was just thinking one day, like, I haven't talked to you in a while. Should invite you on. Have you on.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's awesome. Anytime you want to do this. I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, everybody, we're both kids of the 80s. Oh, tell them about that movie you like. I'll put it in the comments.
Oh, yeah, this is, let's see if anybody's heard of this before. This guy, Knopf, the Shogun of Harlem, is from a movie. We don't have time, or I would do a little quiz to see if anybody knows the movie, but it's a movie called The Last Dragon that came out in 1985. And I'm like the biggest fan in the world of it. And I even run a website and social media for the movie and do all sorts of reunions and stuff with the cast. And it's pretty cool. Something I started as just plain fun has turned into like a whole big thing where I know all the actors and the directors and the writer and get involved with screenings and all sorts of stuff. So it's a movie called Last Dragon, 1985. Check it out. The main character. Yes, I see somebody said Bruce Leroy. That's right.
Yeah.
Not Bruce. It's not a Bruce Lee movie. It's a Bruce Leroy movie. That's right.
Dude, Jared knows.
Yeah. All right. Somebody knows it. So check out, if you do know it, check out the Instagram at The Last Glow or on Twitter X at The Last Glow. That's all.
I really need to watch that. So Kevin, thanks for seeing us off. But yeah, you guys, like I was saying, we're both kids of the 80s, so we always watch. I just love it. I can't. I don't know. I'll do it until I don't anymore. But I always end with Pee Wee. So thanks once again, Craig, for coming out. Where can people find you? Where can they reach you at?
Yeah, right there, SCHD ETF on X, Twitter. I've had someone say. I don't need to follow what's going on in SCHD because Craig's always sharing what's happening. So it's pretty cool. They can there's one stock they can ease up on and not have to follow. So I help make their life easier. So, I might miss something. So don't depend fully on me, but it is helping. Hopefully it's helping people.
You provide a very valuable public service, sir. So thank you for doing that. And everybody else will see you next weekend. Thanks again, Craig.